Hello, everyone. Haumatame is my name, and I'm grateful to be here. Today, I just thought of showing up a little bit and talk about you because you matter, you are important. And the question is, are you showing up as who you truly are? Or most of the times you are frustrated, like I am not seen. Opportunities are passing me by. I don't know what is happening. And just be in frustration because the moment you do that, you're just gonna hide from people. It's something that has been coming through a lot because I've had different conversation with some of my clients, and at times you realize that who they really are and how they show up is two different people. And why? Why is that happening? Because there is an illusion of what is accepted. There is an illusion that we think we know what other people would love. Therefore, we choose to be in an illusion of this is what is acceptable, and we deny ourselves, we abandon ourselves. And at times in relationships, you find that it's not like your partner does not really care about you. They don't know who you are. There are some things that you hide, you just do them just by yourself, and you just take yourself lightly, like it is nothing. My partner is not interested in this, only to realize that you have never really shown them who you are. This is why I'm showing up to say, are you really showing up as you, or you are showing up as a part of you, that little child that still wants to be told that you're a good girl? And what is a good girl? Because at times we describe things according to whatever that we're told as we're growing up. This is what is right, this is wrong. And at times you find that the real you was put in a certain category because certain people could not handle that other side of you. And then you make it also wrong. You don't teach other people who you are. You don't show up and reveal yourself to other people to say, this is who I am, this is what I'm offering, because you find that all these things, they do not affect only the people that we relate with closely, like your spouse, for instance. They even show up at work. You know what you can do, but you are just willing to accept all that is coming through because you have never given yourself a chance to really embrace yourself in your qualities. I had an interesting meeting earlier. Some people wanted some help with some things that I haven't experienced in from my past background. And we had a meeting, and it was lovely, even how I was talking about what I can do based on the past experience and what I'm willing to bring forth based on things that lights my fire, and just to look at the conversation or to see myself in that state where I'm just calling forth what I want, even if when we talk about prices, to talk about prices without the fear of, is it going to be all right, or I'm going to lose this? Like I said, where you get someone saying, oh, thank you that you brought this forward right now, and this is the best time, because then we can look at it and then agree to it, like it's the best time is now. And when I think of it, to say, for a long time, it doesn't matter whether it's with my family, it doesn't matter whether it was at work, whatever that I wanted to say, I always swallowed my words, and I'll say I'll see maybe later. And I'm not kidding, sometimes I would count up to 20, up to 10, many times. Who can relate with that? I want you to put a comment below if you remember there was a time when you wanted something and you had to count so many times. At times you end up not saying anything because, like I said, you beat yourself up so many times that by the time when you're supposed to have a meeting, you're already dead. And it's funny because I wrote this before I left, when I said, when you're just by yourself in your own corner and no one is watching, who's really coming through? Because I just wrote that before I left, and I went somewhere, and it's funny, there was a moment when I was walking somewhere, and I was just in my head, and I was just like, okay. Before I started walking around, tweaking and doing all sorts of things in my own space, only to realize that there is this other woman who is just watching, and she was on the phone. And she just screamed like, yeah, and started saying, well, you are really awesome. And it's just those things that, like I said, it was in my corner where I thought, okay, but I'm just alone. I'm just going to be like a little bit naughty here. But someone was watching and she just loved that moment. It has just lit her up that she even put her phone call aside and started talking to me. And she was just laughing, you know. And those are the things that for you, probably even in your relationship, you are putting them aside and you are surprised why you are not visible. How can you be visible if you are not visible to yourself? How can other people see you if you are not willing to see yourself? How can other people embrace you if you are not willing to embrace the lovely being that you are? And what are you scared of? Because I know it's coming from the unworthiness. I have been in there where in your mind you have this little bit of someone who is really nothing and no one is interested, especially even in relationship. You see amazing wife or women who are really amazing, you know, but you are in your little corner where you are just grieving, like you are just you're just invisible. Your partner is busy doing other things, and you think that even when you meet other women who like have the confidence in them, you just kind of like feel insecure because you have put yourself in a little in a box where it's like you are nothing. You don't let yourself really flourish and just be seen, you know. Even the people who are close to you, they don't get to see you because you're hiding. That little child who was told, don't do that, don't talk like that, don't show up like that, is still afraid. And sometimes it's because of certain experiences that you've had. But it doesn't have to be that way. No one is going to come and give you permission. You have to come through and reveal yourself so that that which you deserve can come forth. At times you're afraid that maybe I'll lose people around me because if I show up as me, they might get intimidated. Then they are not your tribe. Your real tribe would love to see the real you. And even like I said, in relationships, at times it's like, okay, fine. What if they don't get to like me? Do you prefer to want to be a version of a likable one, or do you prefer to show who you really are? Are you willing to reveal who you really are and what you're capable of? Because when you connect to that part of you, that's when you can really thrive in so many areas. That's when you can really be interesting to be with. Sometimes you do certain things and you keep them a secret as it's just nothing. Well, how can you say it's nothing if you really love doing something? Where in your life do you find yourself there is something that really lights you up when you like to do something, but you are dismissing it as nothing because no one is interested in it? And it's not, is it true? Because if at all for you, you dismiss it as nothing, then when someone has an interest, you say, let me see, what is it that you're doing? And you're like, oh, it's just nothing. Already, you've already told us that it's nothing. So just like, don't even bother about it, you know? So why spend time do something yet you call it nothing? Yet you know there is something, a certain part in you that lights up when you do that. Why do you have to play so small? Why do you have to dismiss yourself? Why do you have to abandon yourself? Isn't that the worst betrayal of all? The next thing we cry about how other people treat us, yet we have already done that to ourselves. And for how long are you willing to live like that? For how long? I know because I've done that so many times. I've done that so many times, I've lost count. And I know how it is on the other side as well, because I am on the other side. And I know how it was to beat myself. I know how it was to play small. I at times even, like I said, the disapproval from other people, the judgment for other people. It can be seem like it's a real thing, but you have already dismissed yourself before you can even give yourself a chance in any situation. At times there's some work that needs to be done, but it's worth it. Rather than to be an adult who is being controlled by a little girl who was dismissed by people who did not have the capacity to handle that powerful, amazing, unapologetical girl that you were. That little girl is still in you. The question is, are you willing to let her come out? Are you willing to reveal who you are so that the world can know you? And some of the time, sometimes your relationships are not a problem. The problem is that you are playing small. The playing small in the sense of dismissing yourself. Whatever that your partner is longing for, that maybe you're afraid that they will like in the other person, isn't there within you. Are you willing to reboot that? Are you willing to reignite that so that you can reveal yourself and really be you? If you have to lose something, is it not really losing something if it's coming at an expense of you being yourself? And I've mentioned it before to say, even in my relation, previous marriage, I just showed up and decided, you know what? I've been hiding for a long time. I'm gonna go for my interests. I'm gonna do what I love. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna speak and just shine, and see where it's gonna go. For me, it ended up in divorce, but did it end up in less love than it was before? The love is even more than it was before. This is why I still believe in love, because I've given myself permission. I am with me. I'm more connected with me than I've ever been. And if I love myself, why would I hate someone because they could not be with me forever? For me, it's not a loss. And all the things, this is why when I talk about this, all the situations that I went through, even with not being with my kids, if it has to happen again, if it means it's going to connect me to me, it's not a loss. It's not a loss. Because the woman who is right here, right now, the woman who is speaking to you right now, is not the girl that I was who was fearful. It's not the girl that I was who was playing small, fearful, thinking in lack. It's not the same girl who was told, who watched another woman being open the door and say, come slap her. That's not me. I've learned to love myself and reveal myself so that those who deserve me can come forth. But I still choose to love everyone because they've given me the best gift that I wouldn't have gotten from anyone. The question is, are you willing to give yourself that? Are you willing to let yourself come out? Are you willing to give us your essence, that which you are here to share with us? Or you want to continue playing small, playing insecure, telling yourself stories? What do people say? Which is more what people would say, they're speaking a lot in your head than really in real life. That's what I wanted to share with you, because I love you. Make a choice, because you matter, you're important, and the time is now. This is an opportunity. Do not let it go for a waste. Do not walk this earth just to be invisible, just by dismissing yourself first, even though your focus might be on other people. Where are you attacking yourself? Where are you dismissing yourself? Where are you beating yourself before even other people can say anything? Much love. Bye-bye.